right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's talent show, where you will meet the people that power TTEC. We are so glad that you are here today for yet again another very special show. I'm Rebecca, and I will be your host for today's episode. Once again, we are glad that you are here because today's guest not only is a dynamic leader, has a remarkable career, but he is also very inspiring on the way he approaches work, family, and wellness. So we know that you are going to have, while we haven't called this a masterclass, this is a masterclass in leadership, and we know that you are going to enjoy every bit of it. So before we get to that, we love to meet you. So we enjoy having a very active chat. So please don't be shy. Drop in the chat where you are joining us from today, because we love to see everyone from around the world. Hello, Victoria. Good morning to you. And as people are dropping in where they are from, we're also going to highlight a little bit more about what you're going to learn today. So we're going to learn about some of Chuck's favorite things happening here at TTEC, how we're bringing smiles to our employees around the world, and the importance of being present and centered in this kind of complicated, crazy, ever-changing, fast-paced world that we live in. So we know that you're going to enjoy some of the advice that Chuck will be offering us today. Good morning to our viewers in Austin. Hello, Sonia. It's moving so quickly, everyone. So we're so glad that you're here. Brenda from TTEC Mexico, Workforce Management in the house. Nice to see you. Hung from Oklahoma City. Vernon, we love that you like smiling. That is so great. Malaysia, hello, Wen. Nice to see you. Ezra, always love to see you around. Sanjay, good morning. Donna from hot Arizona. Donna, as you know, I'm also in Arizona, where it might or might not be 118 degrees today. So everyone, please keep it going in the chat. We're so honored that you're joining us here today. But grab your pen, grab however you take notes, because it is time to meet our very special guest and get this conversation started. Chuck Koskovich is our CEO of TTEC Engaged. He's not only a dynamic leader, he also has created an amazing career along the way. He has leadership experience leading customer support operations, client-facing teams. He also is very active with giving back, being a big part of his community. We might hear some things about triathlons, but before I keep going, I know Chuck can tell his story better than anyone. So let's bring on Chuck.
Hey, Rebecca, how you doing?
Hey, great. I am so honored that you're here joining us today. Thank you very much for being here.
It's an absolute pleasure. I saw all those pictures of those that preceded me, and I'm in, wow, tough company there. Amazing group of people.
You know, there's some amazing talent here at TTEC, Chuck, that we have from operations to our wellness leaders. We've had some really amazing guests. So we're glad that you're a part of the talent show guests as well. So Chuck, there's so much great stuff that we're going to talk about today. So before we get into the cool things happening at TTEC, what you value as a leader, tell us a little bit more about you and your TTEC journey, and then we'll get into the rest of it from there.
Yeah, and again, thank you, Rebecca. Honored to be here, and just honored to be. I saw some amazing names come across that screen. Friends from the past, friends of today. So, hello to everybody. Yeah, look, I'm so excited to be back at TTEC. It's actually almost been a year. I came back this past, I guess, September of 22. My journey started many years ago with TTEC, though. I had actually. I interviewed for several different roles here, and before I found the right role, actually, this was a place that's been near and dear to my heart here in Colorado. I'm actually in Denver today, where I was born and raised, and TTEC was just this amazing company I wanted to be a part of. I first joined as a VP of operations. I had several client accounts at that time, and it was just a great introduction to the company and to everything happening here. Had a great opportunity to grow my career here. Became an SVP of operations, ran everything from our Canada operations all the way down to Argentina at the time. And then took some time away from the company, actually quite a few years, a little more than a decade, but was fortunate to come back, as I mentioned, in 2022, and now have the great honor of leading our global delivery for our Engage side of the business. So amazing journey. And it's been filled with just some amazing highs, and we've been through a lot, but it's been really a fun time.
Great. Well, welcome back and happy almost anniversary, another anniversary here at TTEC. So, Chuck, I hear, and you've shared your story that you started your career as a frontline associate, and now you're in the C-suite. So, we have a lot of inquiring minds. People want to know, how did you build your career? So, when you first started as a frontline associate, did you know this was the path that you wanted to take? How did your career take flight from frontline associate to the executive leadership team role that you're in today?
Yeah, so how it took flight is it's a bit of a story, and I'll try to be brief. But and what's so interesting twist of kind of fate here, um, TTEC recently took a smaller footprint for our headquarters here in the Denver area, and we're now currently located in an operation in the Fiddler's Green operation, where I actually started my career, funny enough, 31 years ago as a frontline agent. And so it's just this crazy story. But I actually knew a friend who had a father that worked at MCI Telecommunications at the time, a real progressive company. Had just been through working through as AT&T went through their divestiture. This scrappy, cool little entrepreneurial company. And so, as a young person out of school, this was the first opportunity that I competed for, and didn't know much about contact centers. The opportunities were immense, and everyone kept saying this is a great place to go. And the company was just, thriving at the time. So I took on a role as a frontline agent, and quickly realized that I was good at the work. We were actually serving business customers. I wasn't the guy that called you at dinner at night, which we had a lot of MCIers doing that. But what was great about MCI is it was just fertile ground for folks that wanted to grow their career. It was, if you wanted to dip your toe in, and that's the one thing I've loved about this industry as well. But if you want to dip your toe in, they gave you that opportunity. Or if you wanted to kind of submerge yourself. And so I submerged myself. I got involved in everything I could, took on every project I could. I was reflecting on it the last couple of days as I've walked into this building here. I remember working overtime, doing data entry, anything I could do to learn the business. And so that spawned into opportunities. As I mentioned, we were growing really fast. Was able to jump into a frontline leadership role we call them supervisors at the time. We call them team leaders today. And from there, it was just, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Probably and I still say this today, the most important job in our business, at least on the Engage CX side, is really our frontline leaders. And so having the opportunity to lead a team, to see them grow and develop, it was very competitive. We had an amazing team of team leaders and managers. And it really spawned the rest of my career. I had an opportunity to grow into an operations manager after a short time. And then over a couple of years, a director of operations. And then from there, a variety of different roles with MCI. I spent the first 8 years of my career with that company. And that was really, I think, the fertile ground that allowed me to grow my career from there. I've worked with several other companies, captive operations such as BlackBerry, other amazing BPO companies, including TTEC. But it was really that role that allowed me to kind of get going. And from there, Rebecca, to be honest with you, I knew this was something that I always wanted to do. And it was something that I had a lot of passion around. And I felt like as a frontline leader, if I could be successful and maybe I could share my story, and from there, it just grew.
That is definitely a remarkable journey. And everyone, I told you, grab that pen and paper because Chuck's giving you the lessons. Take anything on, be eager, go into an industry with fertile ground. And that kind of leads us over into TTEC and all of the amazing things that you're doing here. As you just demonstrated, the customer experience industry is really fertile ground for growing and elevating your career. So what do you think what's some great things happening here at TTEC, which would make people want to be a part of our team? And tell us the importance about bringing smiles to our team's face around the world.
Yeah, and Rebecca, it was really illuminated yesterday. I had an opportunity to travel up to Greeley, Colorado. We've got a delivery operation there, and I hadn't been to Greeley for some time, and I had never visited our center there. and was able to travel with one of our senior leaders. We went up and spent time with our team there. And at the end of the day, one of the reasons I came back to TTEC, and what's always been, I guess, center for me for this company is around the people. And as we sat and spent time with our leadership team there yesterday and some of our frontline associates, what was very apparent was it's still all about the people. At the end of the day, it's as you said in your introduction, this is a crazy business. It's ever changing. The pace is nuts. And I think that's one of the reasons we all love and thrive in this, or would love to, those that stay with us and thrive in this business, they love it. But that was what we talked about, right? There's lots of things going on in Greeley and across the particular client that we serve from Greeley and TTEC overall. But at the end of the day, it's around people first, clients first. The values, they don't just, they're not just on the walls here across our headquarters, or if you go to our delivery operations, but when we get on and spend time together as a team, we talk about the things that really matter, and our values are central to that. One of the things I love about this company is that the values were actually not just drummed up or penned out by the leadership community. They were really evolved and really came from our team. And we brought a group together about 10 years ago, known as Magic Makers. And Rebecca, you know this team well, because we just celebrated our 40th year, and another group of Magic Makers last year. But they were the ones that had their pen on it, right? Their fingerprints are all over the values. And so when we get to a call, it's about seeking to understand. It's about living life passionately. They're central to everything that we do. And so that's one of the things. The other thing that I think is great about TTEC and in this industry, but we're not sitting still. There, and again, from our founder to our CEOs, we're always pushing the envelope, looking for how do we continue to best serve our clients? How do we continue to make it easier for our employees to do the work that they do, so we can be more competitive and efficient. And so we're always looking. So to me, those are the things that I think are front and center. And today, whether it's, I know the buzz is around artificial intelligence, and that's been, it's not new, but it's certainly new and getting a lot of attention. And so how do we grasp that? How do we not only use it to benefit ourselves, but how do we benefit our clients with that? And so to me, those are some of the central things. And again, a bit about what's going on here at TTEC.
That's great. And yes, the AI piece, I'm always very interested in what we're doing with that. So thank you for sharing that piece. Everyone, again, the chat's moving so quickly and the comments, but hello to everyone tuning in from South Africa. I saw Ross a little bit ago, Dumasil, Michelle from Canada. Employee engagement is key, and TTEC does such a great job at ensuring a positive employee experience. Thank you, Michelle, for that. Joy from California. We've got people from all over the place. I did see a little bit ago a friend of yours, Dave Thomas, dropping by to say hello as well. So thank you, everyone. And we're going to continue in the chat with you. As you can see, and if you've been tuning into the talent show, we like to talk a lot about what's important in your workday and what makes a great place to work. So we'd love to know from you, what brings you smiles in your workday? It may be like, I'll go first. For me, it's making an impact, knowing that what I do with my team, the larger team that we're on, we're helping people find jobs every day. So I know I can go home at night knowing that what we did helped people. So it also may be that someone just told you a funny joke and they are the witty person that brings a smile to your day. So please do drop anything from, I like my coworkers who make my day when they make me laugh, or we're making an impact. We'd love to hear from you what brings a smile to your face. So Chuck, this leads us into, and as people are dropping that in the chat, this brings us to, you're obviously really busy. You have so many things on your plate. I imagine not only do you have nonstop meetings, but maybe like 3 meetings at a time that you're juggling. And as you said, we had the great opportunity to meet at Magic Makers in Florida. And what really struck me is that you were so present. You were so approachable. You were really engaged. You went above and beyond for the team that we were on for that day. And so I feel like if we could leave everybody today with a couple of different things, what does being present mean to you as a leader? And what are some of the ways that you practice it? Because I was an end person that experienced that, and I really appreciated it. So I'd love to learn a little bit more how you do it.
Yeah, I think, thank you for sharing that, Rebecca. It was really an enjoyable time in Florida, by the way. I think you got to just stay true to yourself. I mean, we all are busy. Everyone, in fact, everyone's like, you're busy. And I'm like, I look at everybody else and everybody's busy. I know everybody's calendars are, off the rails. And I think you've got to just remember to stay true to yourself. I think for me, I have to get a little quiet time in the morning. I know we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but for me, I've got to find that balance. And I think, staying true to yourself, not forgetting where you came from. Again, I've been very fortunate not only to work around some great mentors and some great leaders, but even growing up, I was instilled a very strong work ethic by my parents, and I think I've tried to carry that through to and to not and look, I think at the end of the day, I don't ask anyone to do something that I wouldn't step up to do, and I think that's truly important. So for me, I think those are aspects of remaining centered, um, and kind of how I live my life. I mean, I think it's important to continue to be humble. I again don't forget where I come from, and I try to remember that every single day, whether I'm working with a frontline agent or one of our leadership teams, as I did yesterday, and hearing their stories. I mean, every time we were laughing and we were almost crying yesterday because there was just some emotional stories, just things that people talked about. And then, I have an opportunity to work with our executive team as well as with our board or investors. And that to me, all of those, again, just trying to stay true to yourself, regardless of the situation you're in. And, really trying to act with integrity and again, just trying to be real. So to me, we have, there's times where we have what I would call crises here. There are times where there are things that are urgent. And I think for me, first and foremost, just to try to approach it in a calm way, and to remember that there are ways through all of this stuff, and generally there's solutions, and look for those things. But yeah, it is difficult to balance. But I think if you're honest, and there's sometimes where you just can't do it all either. We were talking about that yesterday, and I think that's one of the things leaders. Others have a difficult time saying no to stuff, and I think we've got to prioritize. And sometimes we have to say no to stuff, and maybe come back to that at a later time when maybe there's a clearer path. So maybe I'll pause there, Rebecca. But that would be how I would describe how I approach that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chuck. And I felt all of that when we interacted in Florida. So thank you very much for sharing that. And yeah, no doesn't have to mean no. It can just mean no for right now, as you reprioritize other things. And I really wish I could be taking furious notes here too. So I'm glad I get to watch this back as we continue the masterclass session here with Chuck. So Chuck, I also know that wellness, giving back to the communities, your faith, your family, it's all travel is all very important to you. Could you share a little bit more about what else you're doing to remain centered, like you said, in the craziness of, again, not just maybe what the business of customer experience is, but the world in general? What are some of the ways that you keep centered, and some things that you think we could put into practice in our daily lives?
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. And I think for me, there are several things that work for me. And what I would share with you is that there's just, I mean, I think of Annette Quintana, and I think of Brian Delaney, and I think of some of the other really amazing leaders that I've been surrounded by throughout my career, or in the church or other places that I'm a part of outside of my business career. And for me, I've got a bit of a routine, and I think for people that have known me and traveled with me over the years, they know this, but it's important for me to have a little bit of quiet time. So I start my day in quiet time. It's the first thing I do. I try not to pick up my phone, because again, the very first thing, especially if you're working for a company which is global, we've got something happening all the time. I really try not to look at my phone. I really try to get up. I do a little quiet time, a little prayer time. That's important to me every morning, with a little coffee, of course, and then get on with my day. To me, that's really important. That if I don't have that, I really feel out of balance. Fitness is also really important. You mentioned triathlons. That's something I picked up as a hobby about 15 years ago. And even when I'm on the road, the ability to train for triathlons. And I think, frankly, putting that on my schedule makes me more disciplined. And I think it's allowed me to actually get through all the travel, because sometimes when we travel to international locations, and I think just having the the endurance to do that. So for me, it's faith. It's making sure I get time with my family. That's incredibly important to me. Work's important, of course, but you can't forget family and friends and other things. And so I really encourage that. I mean, I know people talk a lot about work-life balance. It's obviously prevalent in everyone's conversations, but I really try to be true about that. And then making sure that I just take care of myself in any way possible, eating good, those kind of things. Those are priorities to me. It's helped me, I think, as a leader to stay centered and to stay balanced and to have kind of a framework to operate from. And again, I've witnessed that from others and picked that up from others, as I mentioned, business leaders or others in the communities that I operate and live by. And that's truly helped me. And when I'm off my course, I'm usually not, working one of those disciplines well. So that really, encourages me to come back to that. So to me, it's, again, that quiet time, taking care of yourself, whether it's fitness and taking care of your body, eating well, those kind of things. And then, of course, trying to get enough sleep. That's difficult, especially being on the road this week. It's been challenging. But again, those would be the things, Rebecca, that I would say I've learned across the years, and I think what are most important to me to keep me centered.
Thank you for that. And you're helping me with my needing to break my checking the phone first thing in the morning addiction. So I
It's hard.
appreciate that. Yeah, because if you can start your day, like you said, with your quiet time and whatever that means to you, it really just sets the rest of the tone for the rest of the day. Chuck, real quick, just want to go back into the chat. We had Angela share that our team is very connected. We act as one. Again, there we go. Not just a poster value on the wall, but something we're living. And it's what makes me feel so happy to be a part of the TTEC family. David is really enjoying working from home. Thank you, David, for sharing that. We also have Frank saying hello from Germany and Harmanpreet saying hello from Canada as well. So again, thank you everyone for continuing your comments and joining us on today's show. We are at almost the end, Chuck, because again, we know you've got a lot that is going on, so we want to get you back to your day, and we're very appreciative of the audience tuning in. As you can see, Chuck, it's maybe the middle of the night for a lot of people tuning in, or it's their breakfast, or maybe they're grabbing their lunch with us right now. So we need to get them back to their days too. But as we end this, what might be your favorite piece of advice that you've been given in your career that you can pay forward so our audience can, I mean, we already have so many actionable items to take away today, but just give us that icing on the cake of what else you think we could do in our careers.
Yeah. So thank you, Rebecca, and a couple things. And first of all, thanks for everybody for joining. I know there's some great friends and former colleagues and existing colleagues, and it's true. And I think family and some others I think may have popped on too. So thank you. It's truly an honor to be here. I think for me, some advice that I would pass along, again, I mentioned it before. I've been so blessed to work for some really amazing companies, some really amazing leaders. And there's a few things that have stuck with me. And one thing actually, and this goes back to when I was a young person, he used to be the trainer, the sports trainer for the Denver Nuggets, but he was actually my high school trainer. And here in the Denver area, his name is Jim Gillen. And I'll never forget what Jim said. He's like, Chuck, just don't change who you are. There's going to be a lot of, because again, even as a young person, I really tried to live out my values and try to be a good person, all this sort of thing. And I just remember that, Jim always talked about that. And so that's always stuck with me. And certainly my mom, who's passed, was always instilling that in me as well. But I think the other one is, and you can find it easily if you Google Charles Swindoll, but there's a statement that he makes about attitude and the way you live your life. And again, it's very profound. And so if you can Google Charles Swindoll and just print that, I've had it framed on my desk for years. And again, I think that's something to always come back to, and again, my attitude gets off course. I go read that statement because, again, it's really powerful. And then I came across this last week, and I thought it was really interesting, and I shared this out with the team that I had to lead, that I had the opportunity to lead, I should say. Last Friday, I was given this as we went into the weekend, and I didn't write this, but someone, and I had taken a screenshot of this and saved this, but it's 10 things that require zero talent. One is being on time. 2 is work ethic. 3 is effort. 4 is body language. 5 is energy. 6 is attitude. There's attitude again. Put a big circle around that from my perspective. The next one was passion. I love this one, being coachable. That's not always been a strength of mine, and I've been working on that. And I think that's a really important one. Doing extra and being prepared. And I think those are things that we can all live by. And again, I just, again, circle attitude and remaining humble and being true to yourself. So again, thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, Chuck. I was mentally taking note of all of those things. Energy is the one that really stuck out to me as well. So appreciate all of that insight. Thank you very much for your time today and sharing some of the great things that are happening here at TTEC as well. I hope you enjoyed your time. And, actually, one last question. Nuggets fan then?
I used to be a Nuggets fan. So now I'm I'm a college basketball fan. So my daughter went to the University of Kansas. And so go Jayhawks.
Go Jayhawks.
And I know our Filipino colleagues love basketball as well. But no, so I love that. And then as you know, I'm a big triathlon fan. And then the Tour de France is going on right now. So I'm, the Nuggets. Yes, congratulations to the Nuggets. I'm living in Dallas now, so I don't root for the Nuggets much anymore. But I think we were all pulling for the Denver Nuggets. It was an amazing World Championship. So yeah, but yeah, Mr. Gillen. If you ever, I don't know Mr. Gillen, I have to reach out to him, but he was the trainer for the Nuggets for many years after he was with our high school. And it's just again, those lifelong things you pick up from people that have been in your life. So anyways, go Nuggets.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, Chuck.
Thank you, Rebecca.
And everyone, thank you so much for staying with us. We wanted to share some hot jobs with you today. So wherever you are joining us from around the world, please head to ttechjobs.com and check what may be available in your neck of the woods. We encourage you to come poke around, check out the awards, what our commitment to DE&I is, who we are, what we do. We have our culture book on there, so you can deep dive into a lot of information about our company. If you're tuning in right now, we're just going to highlight a couple jobs. If you're tuning in from Greece, or people that maybe have always wanted to move to Greece, we are looking for sales leaders. Again, a part of Chuck's organization. We're looking for an executive director of operations. We're also looking for a sales manager, sales director. So please, if you're in the EMEA region, come and check it out. We're also looking for, right here in the United States, for customer service representative, going on a path to a licensed agent. So here at TTEC, we offer a college of insurance where we're here to guide you along the process, support you with your licensure fees to become a licensed agent, where this fall you can support American consumers around the United States with helping them to select their medical plan. So talk about making impact and making a difference. Please check out our job there. It is a work from home remote role, as well as we have some available at our different sites around the United States. So please come and check out ttechjobs.com to see the latest that are available there for you. Once again, thank you to our guest, Chuck. As I mentioned before, I had the opportunity to spend a few days with Chuck, and he really does live this purpose-driven life, and I felt very inspired by him. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity for him to come on the show today. I'm grateful to you for joining us, and very grateful for the producers behind the scene who help bring the show to life every other week. So we hope you're walking away with a very profuse list of things that you can do to inspire you. I know that I have some very big ones that I'm going to take away from today, including how to better manage my energy. So appreciate you all joining us. We'll see you back in 2 weeks. Have a great week, everyone.